Leo stepped carefully over the glowing rocks that littered the edge of the cliff. The air on this planet smelled sweet and sharp at the same time. Strange plants with bright blue leaves swayed gently, though no wind seemed to move them. The team had been here for 2 weeks, studying the planet's unusual ecosystem and the alien species that lived near the forested valley below. Leo always loved exploring new worlds, but today something felt different. He felt an odd tension in the air, a sense that the planet was alive and watching. He crouched to examine a small stream that ran across the cliff edge. The water shimmered with colors he had never seen before, reflecting tiny sparks of light as if the river held stars in it. While he leaned forward, he heard it, a sudden sharp scream. The sound cut through the quiet, echoing across the valley below. Leo's heart jumped, and without thinking, he ran toward the noise. Every step was careful but fast. The scream came again, high-pitched and desperate. It sounded like a young girl, and she was clearly in trouble. Leo's mind raced. The research team was a mile away in their base, and it would take too long to get help. There was no choice. He had to find her himself. Following the sound, he came to a narrow path that led down the cliff. The path was treacherous, but he moved quickly, jumping over roots and slipping past sharp rocks. Then he saw her. A small figure was trapped under a large fallen rock. The girl's skin was pale with a faint glow, almost like the plants around her. Her eyes were wide and full of fear. Strange markings ran along her arms and legs, glowing faintly in rhythm with her heartbeat. She struggled against the rock, but it was too heavy for her. Leo dropped to his knees beside her. "Hold on, I will get you out," he shouted. The girl looked at him with wide eyes, unsure whether he was friend or foe. She tried to pull away, but he grabbed her hand gently. "I am not going to hurt you. I just want to help." The girl's eyes filled with tears, but she did not resist completely. Leo placed his shoulder under the rock and lifted as best as he could. It did not move. He looked around for a leverage point and spotted a sturdy branch nearby. He wedged it under the rock and pushed with all his strength. Slowly, the rock shifted enough for the girl to crawl out. She fell into his arms, trembling and gasping for air. "You are safe now," Leo said, brushing the dirt from her clothes. "Can you stand?" The girl nodded weakly. I am Nira," she whispered. Her voice was soft but musical, and it carried an accent that sounded different from anything Leo had ever heard. "I am Leo," he said. "You were very brave. I am glad I reached you in time." Nira looked around nervously. "You must not touch me. You humans are dangerous. You do not understand our ways." Leo nodded slowly, respecting her warning. "I only want to help. You were in danger and I could not leave you there." She hesitated, then allowed him to help her stand. Leo supported her carefully as they moved back towards safer ground. Every step was cautious as the cliff remained unstable. Nira's small hands gripped his arm, and he felt a strange warmth from her. It was not just from her fear. Something about her presence seemed to hum in the air, a quiet energy that Leo could sense in his chest. When they reached the base of the cliff, the alien village came into view. The houses were built from materials that glowed faintly in the dark, and strange bridges stretched between them like vines. Nira pulled back slightly, her eyes wide with fear. "They will know," she whispered. "You must not come here. The law, the ancient law, it will demand things you cannot understand." Leo frowned. "Law? What law?" "I only saved your life." Nira's lips trembled. She shook her head. "It is not your choice. The law will decide now. I cannot explain everything." Leo looked at her, confused. "Then help me understand. I do not want to break anything." Before she could answer, the villagers appeared. They moved quietly but with purpose, surrounding the area. Their faces were calm but serious, their glowing markings giving them a powerful presence. One of them stepped forward, an elder with long white hair and eyes that seemed to pierce Leo's very soul. "You have saved her," the elder said in a deep voice. "You do not know what this means." Leo bowed slightly, careful to show respect. "I did what anyone would do. She was in danger. Please tell me what I must know." The elder's eyes softened slightly. "You have triggered the law. The life you saved binds you to her. It is an ancient rule of our people. A bond is now required. She and you are linked. Her survival depends on your protection, and your actions will shape her future. This is not a punishment. It is a sacred duty." Leo felt a cold weight in his chest. "Bonded? I do not understand. I am human. She is unlike anything I have known. I cannot." The elder placed a hand gently on his shoulder. It is not a choice once the law is triggered. It is a responsibility. You saved her life, and the bond ensures that those who are saved live fully and grow strong. It is our way of honoring life and courage. Nira stepped closer to Leo. Her eyes searched his face, filled with fear and something else he could not name. "I do not want to be bound," she said softly. "I want to be free." "But the law, it is real." Leo took a deep breath. He looked around at the village, at the alien architecture, and at the glowing plants that seemed to pulse in rhythm with Nira's heartbeat. "Then we will follow the law," he said. "I will protect you and I will respect your people. But I will also help you keep your freedom. We will find a way together." Nira blinked, unsure whether to trust him. Slowly she nodded. We will try." The elder smiled faintly. "Then begin. The bond is not just survival. It is learning, growing, and understanding. You will face challenges, but together you will endure. The path will not be easy, but it is necessary for both of you." Leo and Nira exchanged a glance. Fear, uncertainty, and a spark of hope passed between them. They had no idea what the future held, but they knew that from this moment on, their lives were linked in ways that could change everything. As the sun began to set over the alien cliffs, the village lit up with glowing lanterns. The shadows of the towering trees stretched across the ground, and the river reflected the sky in brilliant colors. Leo held Nira's hand lightly, feeling the faint energy that hummed from her skin. It was a strange, powerful feeling, one he had never experienced before. He knew that this bond was only the beginning. He had saved her life, but now he had a new responsibility, not just to protect her, but to understand her world and the laws that shaped it. Leo had always been brave in exploration, but this was unlike anything he had faced. The night came, quiet and still. Leo and Nira sat near the river, watching the glowing waters and the lights of the village. Neither spoke for a while. Words seemed unnecessary. The bond was there, silent but strong. Finally, Nira whispered, "I do not know if I can trust you fully." Leo nodded. "I do not expect you to. Trust is earned, not given. I will not leave you. I will learn. I will respect you." She looked at him, the faint glow from her markings reflecting in her wide eyes. "Then, maybe we can begin." And so it began. The rescue that triggered an ancient law. The bond that neither fully understood. Leo's life, once full of exploration and curiosity, had now intertwined with the fate of an alien girl and the ancient customs of her people. The challenges ahead would test both of them in ways they could not yet imagine. But in this quiet moment by the glowing river, there was a fragile sense of hope. They did not know the dangers that waited beyond the cliffs. They did not know the rival factions and ancient trials that would come. But they knew one thing. Leo had saved her life, and from that act of courage a bond was born that could not be broken. The stars above glimmered in the alien sky. The river shimmered like liquid light. And in the heart of the glowing forest, two lives were linked for a journey that would change them forever. The next morning, the alien village was quiet, yet alive in its own strange way. The air shimmered with the soft glow of bioluminescent plants. Leo walked carefully beside Nira, following the village elder, Soren, who had agreed to explain the law in detail. Nira remained tense, keeping a careful distance from Leo, though she did not leave his side. Soren led them to a large circular building in the center of the village. The walls glowed softly with ancient symbols, moving slowly like living writing. He gestured for Leo and Nira to sit on the polished stone floor. "The law you have triggered is older than any written history," Soren began. "It is called the bond of life. When someone saves a young member of our species from death, that action creates a connection that cannot be undone. It is not punishment, it is protection and guidance." Leo listened carefully, trying to understand. "So because I saved her, I am connected to her life?" Soren nodded. "Yes. Your presence now affects her well-being and hers affects yours. The bond ensures survival. It teaches responsibility, courage, and respect between species. It also guides those who are linked to act in ways that protect life and harmony." Nira's glowing markings pulsed faintly. She looked at Leo with fear and confusion. I do not want this," she whispered. "I am only a child. I want to choose my own path." Leo gently placed a hand near hers, though not touching. "I understand. I did not choose this either. But I promise I will not take your freedom. I want to help you keep it." Soren's gaze was sharp. "The bond is real. Separation is dangerous. If you leave each other for long periods, the one who was saved may weaken, and the bond may cause pain. The law is absolute. It is life itself teaching responsibility. Leo felt a heavy weight in his chest. Responsibility was a word he had heard before, but this was different. This was not about a mission or a job. This was about a life, Nira's life, tied to his own. He looked at her small, trembling form and understood the truth of the law. "What about the rest of my team?" Leo asked. "They will not understand this. They think we are only exploring." Soren shook his head. "Your human companions do not need to know the details. The bond is sacred. Only those involved need to act according to its guidance. Others may see cooperation, but the bond itself is private." Nira's gaze softened slightly. "So, we are connected," she said quietly. "Even if I do not want it?" "Yes," Leo said. "Even if neither of us ask for it. But we will face it together." Soren nodded. "Good. The first step is understanding each other. You must learn how the bond works. There are signs and feelings that will guide you. You will sense when the other is in danger, and sometimes you will feel their emotions. It is subtle at first, but it grows stronger." Leo frowned. "How will I know what is real and what is just my imagination?" "You will know," Soren said simply. "The bond does not lie. It will teach you patience and awareness. You must listen to it." After the explanation, Soren left them alone in the circular chamber. Nira sat quietly, her glowing markings dimming slightly. Leo noticed the faint pulse that mirrored her heartbeat. He realized the law was not just a story or a superstition. The bond was real, physical, and emotional. "Leo," Nira whispered, "I am scared. What if something happens to you? What if you fail to protect me?" Leo took a deep breath. "Then I will learn. I do not know all the rules yet, but I will not leave you. The law may guide us, but our choices still matter. We can face this together." Nira nodded slowly. She seemed to relax slightly, though a small tension remained in her shoulders. Leo realized that trust would take time. He could not force it, but he could show her that his intentions were true. They left the chamber and walked through the village. Children played near the glowing trees, their laughter ringing out in a language Leo could not understand. Villagers observed them quietly, their glowing markings pulsing in recognition of the bond. It was clear that the village knew the bond was active. Some nodded at Leo, showing respect, while others whispered among themselves. Leo felt the weight of responsibility again. Saving Nira had changed everything. He was no longer just an explorer or a researcher. He was a protector, a guardian, and now part of a culture he barely understood. Over the next few hours, Soren guided Leo through the customs of the village. He learned how Nira's people interacted, their rituals, and the importance of the bond in daily life. Every interaction had meaning, every gesture mattered. Leo realized that one wrong step could harm Nira or cause tension with the villagers. "Remember," Soren said, "this bond is a teacher. It will test you. It will ask you to act when you are unsure. But it also strengthens those who are patient and courageous. You must honor it, not resist it." As evening approached, Leo and Nira returned to the edge of the village, where the glowing river curved gently through the forest. Nira sat on a smooth rock, her small hands resting in her lap. Leo sat beside her, careful not to crowd her. "You feel it, do you not?" Nira asked. Leo looked at her. "The bond?" "Yes. Sometimes it feels like a gentle pull or a quiet warning. I can feel when you are afraid or in pain, even if you try to hide it." Nira nodded. "It is strange. I can feel you too, but it is not the same as with my family. It is different. But I am beginning to understand that it is part of the law." Leo smiled faintly. "I will learn it too. We will learn it together. And we will find ways to protect your freedom while respecting it." Nira looked at the glowing river and sighed. "I hope so. I do not want to be trapped. I do not want to feel like I have no choice." "You will have choice," Leo said firmly. "The bond does not take your will. It only guides. Together we will figure it out." For a long time they sat silently, watching the river shimmer in the alien light. Leo thought about the responsibility ahead. He thought about the dangers they might face, both from the world around them and from the strict enforcement of the law. But he also felt a strange comfort. The bond was a connection, yes, but it was also a chance to learn, to grow, and to protect someone who had no one else. Later, the villagers brought them food, strange fruits and glowing liquids that were both nourishing and beautiful. Leo ate carefully, trying to understand the flavors while Nira observed him, her small face curious but wary. "Do humans eat like this?" she asked finally, her voice cautious. Leo nodded. "We have different foods, but I think I could get used to this. It is unique and good." Nira's lips curled slightly in what almost looked like a smile. It was the first real sign of relaxation Leo had seen since the bond began. After the meal, Soren returned. "Tonight you will sleep near each other," he said. "Not because it is required, but because proximity strengthens the bond. It will allow you to sense each other more clearly and react faster in times of need." Leo looked at Nira. "Are you okay with that?" She hesitated, then nodded. "I will try. But I do not want it to feel forced." "It will not be forced," Leo promised. "We are learning together. That is all." That night they lay in a small hut at the edge of the village. Leo could feel the faint pulse of Nira's heartbeat even as she slept. He felt a strange warmth in his chest, a connection that went beyond fear or duty. It was as if the bond had begun to teach him already, teaching him patience, awareness, and the value of courage. As the alien sky darkened and the glowing stars shimmered above, Leo whispered softly, "We will understand this bond. We will face whatever comes together." Nira shifted slightly and Leo felt the gentle echo of her response in his chest. It was subtle but unmistakable. The bond was growing, and with it a sense of mutual trust began to form. Outside, the village remained quiet but alive, the glow of the plants and structures illuminating the night. Leo realized that the bond was more than a law. It was a connection that could guide, teach, and protect. And though the path ahead was uncertain, he felt ready to face it. For the first time since saving Nira, he allowed himself to hope. The bond was real, the law was ancient, and their journey had only just begun. But together they could learn, grow, and face the unknown. The night stretched on, quiet and serene, and Leo and Nira slept with the bond gently linking their lives, guiding them toward a future neither fully understood, yet both were willing to explore. The morning sun cast a soft golden glow across the alien village. Leo woke to the gentle sound of Nira humming quietly. Her markings glowed faintly, responding to her emotions, and he could feel the subtle pull of the bond already shaping their connection. Today would be the first trial that Soren had promised, the first step in learning the full meaning of the bond. Soren appeared at the entrance to their hut. His presence was calm but commanding. "Leo, Nira, it is time. Today you will begin your first test. This trial is not meant to harm you, but to teach understanding, patience, and courage. You must act as one, as the bond demands." Leo nodded, his heart steady despite the tension he felt. "We are ready," he said. Nira looked up at him, her small face serious. "I am ready," she whispered. "But do not expect me to trust you fully yet. I am still learning what this bond means." Leo smiled gently. "I do not expect it. We will learn together." Soren led them to the edge of the forest beyond the village. The trees were tall and strange, with branches that curled and twisted toward the sky. The leaves shimmered in a rainbow of colors, and the ground was soft but uneven. He gestured to a narrow path that disappeared into the dense foliage. "This path," Soren explained, "is not dangerous in itself, but it will challenge your ability to communicate, to sense each other, and to act wisely. The forest has creatures that will test your courage and obstacles that will require careful thought. You must rely on the bond as a guide." Leo took a deep breath and reached for Nira's hand. She hesitated, then allowed him to take it. The warmth of her skin and the faint pulse of energy running through her sent a strange but comforting feeling through him. They began walking into the forest, the soft glow of the plants lighting their way. The first challenge came quickly. A wide river blocked their path, its water sparkling with strange, shifting colors. Leo knelt to examine it. The current was fast, and the rocks were slippery. "How do we cross?" Nira asked, fear clear in her voice. Leo thought for a moment, then noticed a series of large, flat stones forming a rough bridge across the water. He tested the first stone with his foot. It shifted slightly but held. "We go one at a time," he said. "Hold my hand and step carefully." Nira's markings flickered with anxiety, but she followed his guidance. Step by step, they moved across the river, feeling the bond strengthen as they instinctively adjusted to each other's movements. When Nira slipped slightly, Leo caught her immediately, their connection alerting him to her danger before she could even cry out. Once they reached the other side, Nira exhaled in relief. That was close, she said. Leo smiled. The bond helped. We sensed each other. That is what Soren said would happen. The forest grew denser as they continued. Strange noises echoed around them. Soft rustling, the clicking of unseen creatures. Suddenly, a large animal leapt from the shadows. Its skin was a deep iridescent green, and it had long, spindly legs ending in clawed feet. The creature growled, its eyes glowing as it advanced toward them. Nira froze. Leo instinctively stepped in front of her. He felt the bond tighten, warning him of danger. Stay close, he said calmly. Move slowly and together. The creature lunged. Leo grabbed a sturdy branch from the ground and held it defensively. He realized he could not defeat it alone. Using the bond, he guided Nira to act. She moved instinctively, weaving between the trees, her small size giving them an advantage. Leo swung the branch at the creature and it recoiled. Together they forced it to retreat into the shadows. After the encounter, they paused to catch their breath. Nira's markings glowed brighter, showing a mixture of fear and exhilaration. We did it, she said softly. Yes, Leo agreed. The bond works. We can face challenges together. They continued through the forest, encountering obstacles that tested their coordination and understanding. A fallen tree blocked their path, requiring them to climb and balance carefully. A steep cliff demanded that they work together to find safe footing. Each challenge strengthened the bond, teaching them to anticipate each other's moves and communicate without words. By mid-afternoon, they reached a small clearing where a strange structure stood. It looked ancient, made of stone carved with symbols similar to those in the village. Soren appeared again, his expression serious. You have done well to reach this point, he said. Now you must face the final test of the trial. Inside, this structure is a challenge that will test your courage, your wisdom, and your understanding of the bond. Enter carefully. Leo and Nira exchanged a glance. The bond hummed between them, subtle but insistent. They stepped inside together, hands still linked. The interior was dark, but faint light from the symbols on the walls illuminated the room. At the center stood a pedestal with a small glowing orb. The orb pulsed like a heartbeat, and Leo felt the bond respond strongly. He realized this was the final test. Soren's voice echoed in the room. The orb represents the life of the one you are bonded with. You must protect it while solving the puzzle that surrounds it. Failure will not destroy you, but it will teach lessons in caution and unity. Leo approached the orb carefully. Nira followed, her markings glowing brightly. The floor shifted beneath their feet, forming a maze of light and shadow. Each step required balance, attention, and trust in the bond. Leo felt the pulse of Nira's fear and steadied her. She sensed his confidence and mirrored it. Together they navigated the shifting floor, guided by the silent communication of the bond. When they reached the pedestal, the orb emitted a bright flash of light. Symbols appeared around it, forming a sequence that needed to be matched. Leo studied the symbols and noticed that Nira instinctively knew which to touch. They worked together, each movement synchronized until the sequence was complete. The orb glowed steadily, and the maze dissolved around them. Soren's voice echoed once more. You have succeeded. You have demonstrated courage, wisdom, and unity. The bond has guided you, and you have honored it. The trial is complete. Nira let out a deep breath, her body relaxing for the first time that day. I understand a little more now, she said. The bond is not just about control. It is about trust, teamwork, and protection. Leo nodded. Yes. And it is not just yours or mine. It is ours. We can help each other and face the challenges together. Soren smiled. Good. The bond is a teacher. Today you have learned its first lessons. Many more trials await, but you have taken the first step. As they left the structure and walked back to the village, Leo felt a sense of pride and connection. The bond had guided them, but it had also shown him that Nira was not weak or helpless. She had her own strength, and together they could face the unknown. That evening, Leo and Nira sat by the glowing river again. The bond pulsed softly, a reminder of their shared experience. Nira's face was thoughtful. I am beginning to trust you more, she admitted. But I still have fears. The law, it is powerful, and I do not know what it will demand of us next. Leo took her hand gently. We face it together. The bond is not a cage. It is a guide. We will learn, grow, and protect each other. That is what matters. Nira's markings glowed faintly as she nodded. Together, she said softly. The stars appeared above, shining brightly in the alien sky. Leo felt the bond respond to the night, its hum gentle and constant. He realized that the journey ahead would be filled with challenges, but the connection he shared with Nira would give them strength. Tomorrow, they would face new trials, learn more about the ancient law, and discover the depth of the bond. But tonight, they rested, linked in trust, courage, and understanding. The bond had begun to teach them, and they were ready to listen. The next morning, Leo woke to an uneasy silence. The soft glow of the alien village was still, the usual hum of life missing. Nira stirred beside him, her markings dimmed, signaling worry. She sat up quickly, scanning the surroundings. Leo, she whispered urgently, something is wrong. I can feel it, the bond. It is warning me. Leo's heart tightened. The bond had become a steady presence since their first trials, guiding them and alerting them to danger. Now it pulsed sharply, a warning he could not ignore. He rose and looked toward the edge of the village. Shadows moved between the glowing trees. Alien figures, unknown and hostile, were approaching. They are raiders, Nira said softly. They want to capture the children and take them away. They will not respect the law. We must protect the village, Leo nodded firmly. Then we fight together. Stay close to me. The bond will guide us. They sprinted toward the center of the village, where the elder Soren waited with a group of villagers. The raiders advanced with strange weapons, their eyes glowing red and cold. Their leader, taller than the others, stepped forward, snarling a word in an alien language Leo did not understand. Do not be afraid, Soren said to the villagers and to Leo. The bond will guide you. Trust it. Leo gripped a staff used for walking through the forest, ready to defend Nira. She clutched his arm, her pulse resonating with his through the bond. He could feel her fear but also her determination. The bond was alive between them, a quiet voice whispering in their minds, helping them anticipate each other's actions. The raiders lunged. Leo and Nira moved together instinctively. Nira darted to the side, drawing one of the raiders' attention while Leo swung the staff to block an attack. The bond pulsed, warning him of another enemy approaching from behind. He pivoted, catching the raider off guard, and forced him to stumble back. Nira's movements were graceful and precise. She had small but powerful abilities, her hands glowing faintly as she moved objects with subtle force. Using the bond, Leo guided her to lift a fallen tree branch to block the path of advancing raiders. Together, they controlled the battlefield, defending the villagers while keeping the raiders at bay. The leader of the raiders advanced, a weapon in hand, glowing with energy. Leo felt the bond tense, urging him to act quickly. Nira now, he whispered, and they moved as one. Nira's glow intensified, creating a protective shield around them both, while Leo struck the leader's weapon with his staff. Sparks flew and the leader fell back, stunned. The villagers cheered quietly, rallying to help drive the raiders away. Leo and Nira continued to work in perfect coordination, anticipating each other's movements. When one raider tried to flank them, the bond alerted Leo before the enemy even moved. He caught the raider's arm and held him off while Nira lifted another branch to block their path. Finally, the raiders retreated, leaving the village intact. The villagers gathered around Leo and Nira, their markings pulsing in admiration and respect. Soren stepped forward, nodding. You have proven yourselves, he said. The bond is not just a connection between two lives. It is strength, courage, and loyalty. You have learned to act as one, and that is the true meaning of the law. Leo exhaled, feeling both relief and exhaustion. He looked at Nira, whose markings still glowed faintly. We did it, he said softly. Together. Nira nodded, her small hand brushing against his. The bond? It is strong, she admitted. I feel your courage, Leo, and I feel mine too. We are stronger together, Soren smiled. Remember this lesson. The bond grows through challenges. Every trial, every danger, every choice strengthens it. You are not just connected. You are allies, protectors, and friends. As the sun set, painting the alien sky with vibrant colors, Leo and Nira walked toward the edge of the village. The bond pulsed softly, guiding them. Leo realized that their connection was not just for survival. It was teaching him patience, awareness, and responsibility in ways he had never known. Leo, Nira said quietly, do you think the raiders will return? They might, he replied. But we will be ready. The bond has guided us today, and it will continue to guide us. We will protect each other in this village, no matter what comes. Nira looked at him, her eyes shining. I trust you, she said softly. Even if I am afraid, I trust you. Leo felt warmth in his chest, a mixture of pride and relief. The bond had done more than link their lives. It had created understanding and trust. He realized that Nira's strength was just as important as his own. Together they could face challenges far greater than either could alone. The night deepened and the villagers returned to their homes. Leo and Nira remained near the glowing river, discussing the day's events. The bond, Leo said, is more than survival. It is communication, intuition, and loyalty. I feel every movement, every emotion. I understand you better than I did yesterday. Nira nodded. And I feel the same. It is strange, but comforting. I am not alone anymore, even though the law forced this connection. I can rely on you, Leo smiled. And I can rely on you. The bond is not a burden. It is guidance. It teaches us how to act, how to protect, and how to trust. Nira's markings pulsed brighter. Then we will continue learning together, no matter what dangers come. The stars reflected in the river, casting their shimmering light across the forest. Leo felt the bond pulse softly, steady and reassuring. The trials of the day had strengthened it, and he knew that many more challenges awaited. The raiders were only the beginning. Soren returned briefly, his presence calm and authoritative. The bond is a living thing, he said. It grows through courage, loyalty, and understanding. Today you have demonstrated all three. Tomorrow you will face further lessons, but you are ready. Leo looked at Nira. We are ready, he said firmly. Nira's glow brightened slightly. Yes, together we are ready. As the night deepened, Leo kept watch while Nira rested. He could feel the bond's subtle hum, a gentle reminder that they were linked not just in survival but in purpose. The alien sky above was filled with stars, and the glowing plants around them shimmered softly. The bond had taught him patience and awareness, but most importantly, it had shown him that courage and loyalty were not just personal traits. They could be shared, strengthened, and multiplied through connection. The quiet of the village returned. The danger had passed, but Leo knew this was only the beginning. The raiders would return and new threats would appear. Yet with Nira at his side, guided by the bond, he felt ready. He had saved her life, and now he would protect her, guide her, and learn from her. The bond pulsed gently, and Leo realized something profound. This connection was not just about law or survival. It was about understanding, growth, and the power of working together. He would face the coming trials with patience, courage, and loyalty, knowing that the bond would guide them both. As he watched Nira sleep, he whispered softly, "No matter what comes, we face it together. The bond is our strength." Nira stirred slightly, and Leo felt the gentle echo of her awareness through the bond. It was subtle, but it was unmistakable. The connection between them was alive, growing stronger with each challenge, each choice, and each shared moment. The night stretched on, and the alien forest seemed calm once more. Leo and Nira had faced their first real external threat together. The bond had guided them, protected them, and strengthened them. And as the stars shone above, Leo knew that their journey had only just begun. Together they would face whatever dangers awaited. The bond would continue to teach them, challenge them, and protect them. And through it all they would grow stronger together. The morning light bathed the alien village in a warm golden glow. The air was crisp and carried the faint scent of the glowing plants that grew around every home. Leo walked beside Nira, their hands brushing occasionally. The subtle pulse of the bond a quiet reassurance between them. The bond had grown stronger each day, guiding them through trials, danger, and learning. It had taught them patience, courage, and the importance of trust. Today, the village celebrated. The elders had called a gathering to honor the bond and the courage of those who had protected the young and vulnerable. Villagers lined the paths, their markings glowing softly, a sign of respect and recognition. Children ran around, laughing, their eyes filled with curiosity and wonder. Soren met Leo and Nira at the center of the gathering. "Today we recognize the bond," he said, his deep voice carrying across the clearing. "It is a connection that brings understanding, protection, and strength. Leo, you have honored the law, and Nira, you have grown in courage. Together you are a living example of what the bond can teach." Leo nodded, his eyes on Nira. "It is not just the law. It is trust, teamwork, and respect. I have learned from you as much as you have learned from me." Nira smiled faintly, her markings glowing brighter than usual. "And I have learned that the bond is not a trap. It is guidance, and it can make us stronger together." Soren gestured for them to step forward. A soft light surrounded them as the elders performed a ritual to formally recognize their bond. Symbols of the ancient law shimmered in the air, moving around them, highlighting the connection that now linked their lives. Leo felt the bond pulse, steady and strong. He could sense Nira's heartbeat, her courage and her trust in him. It was no longer just a warning or guidance, it was a connection that brought clarity, understanding, and purpose. After the ceremony, the villagers approached them, offering gifts and words of praise. One elder, an older woman with gentle eyes, handed Leo a carved talisman. "This will remind you of your connection and the responsibility it carries. It symbolizes courage, loyalty, and the promise to protect life." Leo accepted it respectfully. "I will honor it," he said. "Not just for the law, but because it represents everything Nira and I have learned together." Nira handed him a small crystal from the glowing river. "And this is for you," she said. "It represents guidance and clarity. When you feel lost, it will remind you of the bond and what it teaches us." Leo smiled and slipped the crystal into his pouch. "Thank you," he said softly. "We have grown together, and this bond will continue to guide us." The day continued with celebrations, feasts, and storytelling. Villagers shared tales of past bonds, of courage and learning, emphasizing the importance of trust and cooperation. Leo listened carefully, learning more about the culture and values that shaped Nira's world. He began to understand that the law was not only about survival, it was a framework for creating understanding, respect, and harmony between generations and even between species. As the sun began to set, Leo and Nira walked along the glowing river. The light reflected in the water, casting dancing colors across the trees and ground. The bond hummed softly, reassuring and steady. "Nira," Leo said, breaking the comfortable silence, "do you think humans and your people could work together in the future? If we understand each other, we could help each other." Nira considered this. "It is possible," she said. "But humans must learn our ways and respect the law. The bond is not just for survival, it teaches respect. If you truly understand it, maybe others could too." Leo smiled. "I want to help. We can start with what we have learned. The bond taught us courage, trust, and protection. Maybe it can teach others as well." Nira's markings pulsed brighter. "Then we will try. Together." They walked in silence for a while, the bond keeping them aware of each other, guiding their movements and strengthening their connection. Leo realized how much he had grown. He had started as an explorer, curious about a strange planet, but now he was a protector, a guide, and a trusted friend. Nira, too, had grown from a scared, uncertain child into someone brave, perceptive, and capable. That night, they returned to their hut. Nira settled near the riverbank outside while Leo prepared a small fire. They shared a quiet meal, eating the strange glowing fruits and discussing what they had learned. "The bond," Nira said quietly, "has changed me. I was afraid at first, but now I see that it can guide, protect, and teach. I feel safe with you, Leo." Leo reached out and gently touched her hand. "And I feel the same. The bond has taught me responsibility and courage in ways I could not have imagined. But most of all, it has taught me how to trust and understand someone very different from me." Nira smiled faintly. "I think I am ready to face whatever comes next. With the bond with you, I can face it. Leo nodded, and I will be there every step. The bond is not just a rule. It is a connection that strengthens both of us. We will grow stronger and protect each other and this village together. The night passed quietly. The glowing plants cast gentle light over the village, and the bond hummed steadily between them. Leo realized that they had passed more than physical trials. They had grown emotionally and mentally, learning the true meaning of trust, courage, and loyalty. The next morning, a patrol of villagers returned from the outer forest. They brought news of minor threats, wild creatures and remnants of raiders, but all had been dealt with successfully. Leo and Nira felt the bond respond, alert and ready, but calm. They had learned to trust it, and it guided them without panic. Soren approached them. "You have grown much since the day the bond was first triggered," he said. "The law is not just about linking lives. It is about understanding, protecting, and guiding. You have learned all three. You are ready for the next stage. Teaching others what you have learned and sharing your experience to strengthen the village and future bonds." Leo looked at Nira. "We can do that," he said. "We will teach others, protect them, and show the bond as a source of strength, not fear." Nira's eyes shone with determination. "Yes, together we will show that the bond can create courage, understanding, and harmony. Not just for us, but for everyone who follows the law." Soren smiled, satisfied. "Then begin. The path ahead is long, but you are prepared. Trust the bond, trust each other, and trust the lessons it teaches." Leo and Nira stood together, feeling the bond pulse between them. It was stronger than ever, a constant reminder of the responsibility, courage, and understanding they now shared. They had faced danger, learned to communicate, and grown as individuals and as a team. As they walked through the village, villagers of all ages smiled and nodded. Children approached them, curious and eager to learn. Leo and Nira shared small lessons, demonstrating how the bond worked and how trust and courage could guide their actions. By nightfall, the village was alive with stories and celebrations once again. Leo and Nira sat near the glowing river, the water reflecting the stars above. The bond hummed softly, a quiet reassurance. Leo realized that this journey was not over. The bond would continue to teach them, challenge them, and guide them in ways they could not yet fully understand. But for the first time, he felt hope. The bond was not a curse or an obligation. It was a connection that could shape a brighter future, not just for them, but for the village and possibly for the relationship between humans and Nira's people. "Nira," Leo said softly, "we have come far, and I believe we can go even further. Together." She smiled faintly, the glow from her markings bright in the soft light. "Yes, together. The bond has guided us, taught us, and protected us. Now it will continue to guide us in what comes next." The alien sky stretched endlessly above them, filled with stars and the soft glow of distant planets. The river shimmered like liquid light, mirroring the glow of their connection. Leo realized that saving Nira's life had changed everything, not just for her, but for him as well. The bond had been triggered, and through it, they had grown stronger, braver, and wiser. As they sat together, watching the village and the glowing forest, Leo knew one thing for certain: the bond was more than a law. It was life itself, teaching courage, loyalty, and understanding, and together they would face the future side by side, ready for any challenge. In the quiet of the night, with the bond humming steadily between them, Leo whispered softly, "No matter what happens, we face it together." Nira rested her hand against his, and he felt her heartbeat echo through the bond. "Together," she whispered, and under the glowing sky beside the shimmering river, two lives remained linked. The bond had begun as law, but it had grown into trust, courage, and hope, a promise that together they could face the unknown and build a future full of harmony and understanding.